G'day and welcome to the Hunting Connection podcast. My name is Zach Williams and I am your host. Here we'll connect you with hunters, fishers and outdoor enthusiasts from around the globe. This podcast will share hunting and fishing stories, including past experiences, and tackle the tough hunting stereotypes our community faces. We hope to be a positive influence to those outside the community while also having a laugh along the way. Hope you enjoy the podcast. G'day and welcome to another episode. Today my guest is Joshua Haines. If you guys are on Instagram or any of the hunting pages in Australia, you will know this guy very well. He's a hell of a deer hunter, a great dad, a great fisherman, and just a all-round great outdoorsman. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. So let's get straight into it, man. Where are you from?
I'm from Adelaide, South Australia, live in Panorama.
Yep.
But originally from the southeast of South Australia, down at Pathway.
Okay, so when did you move into actual Adelaide itself?
I was 18 years old when I first come up here, came up for work. So I was an apprentice chippy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you still in the chippy game now?
I am still a carpenter, but I'm more maintenance at the Royal Adelaide now.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. How old are you, Josh?
I'm 35.
35?
Yep.
Awesome. We've just covered this, what do you do for work, but that's maintenance. So how did you get into hunting and fishing?
Basically from a young kid, like your young boys, and as yourself being a young dad as well, basically my old man took me out hunting and fishing and stuff like that as a young boy, so just on the farm growing up, and yeah, just eventuated from that. So
what'd you start off with, like a slug gun, slingshot, bow?
Yep, air rifle and the slingshot, which the old man confiscated many times.
But
yeah,
I know that feeling.
Yeah, but the slingshot, mate, got me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
smashing windows, shooting stuff you shouldn't be shooting.
Oh, we all started, like, me and you have a very, very similar origin story to say, you know, air rifle and slingshot, and you know, no pigeons were safe in the backyard, that's for sure. Nothing
was safe with a slug gun, mate. When I updated from the slingshot to the air rifle, she was on.
Man, I couldn't tell you how many like feral pigeons and turtleneck doves and stuff I ate as a kid. I'd shoot them. I'd be made to pluck them and gut them, and then my nan would cook them up in the oven in a nice onion gravy for me.
Cannot beat nan's cooking. Pigeons, anything, quails.
Pigeons are so underrated for just like an edible species.
If you need something that's quick and easy, they're in your backyard.
Yeah. I was speaking to a bloke at work today, and he was talking about one of his mates soaks grain in alcohol and gets them tipsy, and then just walks up and picks them up, puts them in a bag, dispatches them, and cooks them.
It's like pre-marinated before you cook it. Select your flavour grain.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. What's your gear run through, man?
I've got a bit of a mixed bag of gear at the moment, but I'm currently updating that through Spiker Gear.
Yep.
Which I find very, very effective in the field. But yeah, backpack, bino harness, which is really handy because you can have your rangefinder in there, your glasses, like your glass cleaner for your scope with your binos. Good pair of boots, which I run volleys. So
I've heard many stories about your volley adventures. That's for sure. What pack are you running?
I'm currently running a Badlands backpack.
Yep.
But I'll be upgrading that to a Spiker day pack.
The Spiker packs aren't too bad. I've a few of the guys I hunt with run them.
Nice.
Yeah. Good quality gear for sure.
Yeah, so I'll be getting that. Good set of binos. Rangefinder's handy, but sometimes, like where I hunt, I don't really use that too much. Just because I'm normally stalking in and getting in close as I can.
So what's your rifle setup that you're running at the moment for deer?
I've currently got a Sauer 100 Timber Classic, which is 300 Win Mag, and that's got a
good caliber.
Yeah, very nice. You run one yourself.
Yep.
And I've got a Swarovski 3 to 12 by 50 on that, which
very
is a
nice.
C3, and that glass and that's sensational especially for early morning and late afternoon hunting.
I've heard great things. I just can't afford that.
Yeah, they are expensive, but Yeah, no, that's chalk and cheese, like in amongst other stuff, and then just run Leopold rings on my gun, so there's no movement. So.
Yeah, Leopold rings are good. That's what I run. Leopold rings and rails.
Like I've said once before, if you buy a factory rifle and it comes with factory rings, flog them off, buy something else because they are way better.
100%.
Hold your gear tight. You won't have any movement.
100%. What bow archery gear you run?
Currently I've got a PSE Bow Madness 32, and I've had it tuned to 76 pound. But when I'm bow fishing, I'd have backed that right off because it smashes through them, as you know.
It does.
And that's I use Naptime archery arrows.
Great. And that's what I run. I got a bunch right next to me that I need to fletch up, and then a bunch that I need to cut down, getting ready for the rut.
Looking at what I'm looking at, you can never have too many arrows.
No, I've tried a bunch of different arrows, but there's a reason I keep going back to nap time.
Yeah.
What heads are you running?
I've got the Madmans.
Madmans, yep.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're a 3-blade, aren't they?
Yes, I think so. Yep. You got me thinking now. I do shoot bow, but I don't shoot it enough.
They're those ones they're red, aren't they? I think maybe
silver and black.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're really good. Like I shot a couple of goats not long ago with them and straight through both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one arrow, one shot. And
I remember you posting up the photo.
I was like, far out. I didn't realise I hit 2, but when I looked at the video, I was like, far out hit 2. So I was like, oh well, and I tracked them up. One went 20, one went 60.
Yeah, I've done the same thing many years ago. I shot at a black and white goat that was in some brush, and when I walked up to it, there was a black goat and a white goat. Both double lung. Arrow went through both of them. Perfect. Out the other side. So you can't get much better than that.
Yeah, best thing about the bow is you can pick your arrow up and then use it again.
100%. I carry just a little steel sharpener in there in the backpack just to give a...
Yeah, sharpen your tips.
I run the Van Diemen 125 grain 2-blade heads,
nice.
Single bevel. Beautiful head. What's in your hunting pack? What do you carry?
In my backpack, I got a 2-litre water bladder, which is essential for southeast hunting here because it's pretty warm. And you got to walk long kilometres, so you got to have a.
Richard was talking about that last week. Yeah, you cover some good ground down there in southeast to South Australia.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You got to put the kilometres on your feet, otherwise you won't see what you look like. You never know what's over the next hill.
Yeah.
You just got to keep pushing.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, you just don't know, and being on a large property as well, you could see a few young deer there. Then you go, well, what's over there if they're out? And then bang, you're onto something cool.
You're very spoiled for choice down in the southeast, running to multiple species on a hunt.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm very blessed to have what I've got in my block.
So. 100%. What snacks in that do you carry? Carry any snacks when you go out?
I've got like a Breville pack, which is like your beer, biscuit, drink, like whatever. Like they have it see on the bar and that.
Yeah.
Like peanuts and crackers and. Like, I don't know what you call it, but crusket type stuff.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
That, high in protein stuff and that, but, that's just essential if I need it.
What about sugar? Carry any sugary snacks out with you?
Nah, when I'm in Victoria Assembly, I take a Mars bar or something in, just because if you shoot one, you need that to get it out. But nah, not down there, generally, because I just go out for the morning, drinking water and that I just keep charging. So
yeah, you have some pretty good breakfast cook-ups, judging by your Instagram stories. Some venison, bacon, and eggs cooked over that hot plate that you got on the swinging hot plate.
Definitely, yeah. No, that swing on, swing off hot plate definitely does the job. But yeah, I walk like 15, 20 k's that morning. I come back and like the fire's still going from the night before, and yeah, we have a heck of a feast cook up. So
yeah, that's what you want, man. That's what you want for sure.
Yeah, you got to eat well.
What knives and stuff are you carrying in your pack?
I've got FDIC and optic hunting knives as well in my backpack. So I use FDIC steel, the optic 6-inch boner knife, and then I've got like a scalpel blade on a quick clip thing from Spiker. And that's really good.
Yeah, I like those detachable blade knives. I've got the Gerber version.
Oh, beautiful.
I think every episode, every guest has had a detachable blade knife. Richard was saying last episode that you gave him a couple FDIC knives with the ball on the end. for
gut
gutting.
knife. Yeah, they are, mate. If you haven't seen one of those guys, it's a knife with a steel ball on the end, so it's a gutting knife, and also I use it for doing my main cuts on my caping and my skinning.
Yeah, they're great.
It's just so efficient. Like, I think they call it a FDIC gut knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Optic Hunting sent them as well. But yeah, they're really good. So
yeah, I got a couple of them floating around from my abattoir days, and I've got them one in my pack all the time. They especially when I can string up a deer, they make doing all the caping cuts awesome.
Definitely.
Especially like when you're running down the legs and run around the gut when you want to separate the skin from the actual flesh of the animal.
That's right. There's no pop guts as well. You cut a little snick in between the legs and just run it down the guts, and then you cut the white bone between the ribs.
Yeah.
So yeah, just go straight through that.
I cut down straight down the middle of the ribs with the knife, all the way down to the base of the throat, and it just makes easy work of.
Yep. Now they're a really good knife. Zach can post up a picture of one of them.
Yeah. I'll have to go find mine in my hunting gear somewhere. It's at the bottom of my bag somewhere. What would your top beginner tip be?
Top beginner tip for someone who's just started out hunting would be wind in your face, and just pick your property or your property owner's brain about where your low and high points are on the property, and basically scrubby points as well.
Yeah, I've found like finding out the layout of the land's really good, because the amount of farmers I've spoken to and property owners I've spoken to, that you speak to them and they're like, oh, I might see a deer once a year. We don't have that many here. And then you put the time in and you see a dozen every time you go out. It's just because they're making too much noise and they're not looking for it. Once you actually slow down and you got the wind in your face, like Josh said, they're much easier to get onto. And
definitely, yeah, the old farmer's ute banging around the old Land Cruiser, cruising over the hill, and scares everything before he pops over the hill. Done now.
Hammer and spanners and jerry cans all floating in the tray, just metal on metal.
Yeah, but no, deer generally in summer here in South Aussie, they're this time of the year they're on the loose or in the flats, getting that last bit of that good nutrients in the flats.
Growing out the rest of their antlers.
Yeah, grow the rest of their antlers and that, but the hilltops and that are basically losing a bit of puff now with the dry feed.
Yeah, she's been a bit dry lately, but we're set to get some rain this weekend by the looks of it.
Yeah.
What would your top 5 items be for a beginner?
Oh, heck. Good pair of boots.
100%.
Good pair of binos.
What binos are you running?
I'm running the Leopold BX4 HD Pros, guys. And they're pretty good. They're 10x42s, but I prefer 8x42s.
Yep, I think I'm running 8 by something. I can't remember. I got a pair of Mavens, but just as nice.
Yep.
So that's 2.
A good backpack.
100%.
Yep, and you've got to have a water bladder in your pack as well, because basically you don't want to carry a water bottle around, flopping around in the backpack. That's hard work.
Yeah, some people do, some people don't. Like,
yep.
I'm a shocker. I've said this before, that I just leave my water bladder in my pack, and it could have the same water in it for 3 hunts. Yeah,
that's
maybe
the same
more.
As mine. Yeah. But the thing is too, like my mate cleans his out. I leave mine the same, and I cleaned it like after 18 months.
Yeah, and
it wasn't even dirty. Like it was fine.
Yeah, you don't want to take the tube off of mine.
Well, I haven't checked the tube actually. Might be like river water.
Yeah. She gets a bit rank, but if you don't look, it tastes the same.
Yeah, exactly. Best tip too, like good. You got to have good camo.
100%.
Yeah, get quality. You want summer and hunting gear, otherwise you'll flame and cook, or you'll get wet.
Yeah, wet and dry gear. That's for sure.
Definitely, and then a good set of knives.
So what camo are you running?
I'm running Spiker Biara, which
Spiker,
is a new camo. Yeah,
I've seen you post that up. It's a nice looking gear.
Yeah, so they only just released that start of last year, and mate, like there's some of the stalks I've done in the last 14 months, and it's amazing. Like, not just talking it up because of that, but yeah, I've had some really unreal hunts in that.
Yeah, good camo does make it. Anyone can shoot anything, no matter what you're wearing, but that good camo just gives you that extra edge. And thankfully, Australia and New Zealand have lots of great brands.
Definitely.
Huntec, Hunter's Element,
Yeah.
Tusk, Spiker,
Yeah. You just got to look at your background and your landscape and what you're hunting and try and
100%.
match it.
Yeah.
And match it best you can, and obviously like you can choose whatever you want, but whatever fits comfortable and suits you and stuff like that. Like Spiker for me fits really well, as did Hunter's Element and Hunt Tech gear that I got as well. But
you're a bit of a jack of all trades when it comes to camo. You've tried a bit of everything.
Yeah, tried a fair bit of gear, and I rate it. So if you're looking for something, check it out. Spiker got a pretty good website, and so did Hunt Tech and stuff like that. So whatever you choose, and just check out your
100%.
landscape and go from there. But
find what you like. That's what is most important. What are you going to be comfortable in? You don't want to be wearing something too thick and it's a 40-degree day, and you don't want to be wearing something too thin and it's cold and wet and you're soaking and miserable.
Yeah. You'll flame and either freeze or you'll cook.
Yeah, it's always good if you're starting off a hunt not to be overdressed, just be a little bit underdressed, especially if you're putting some miles in, so that way once you start sweating and moving around, you're not having to stop, shed layers. Yeah, I'm shocking for that. I feel the cold pretty well, Some mornings I've got my Hunt Tech thermals on, and then I've got a jacket on and pants, and hang on, Luke, I just need to stop. I just need to take my jacket off. 15 minutes down the road. I just need to stop. Let me take my thermals off. Hang on. Let me just stop. When we're stopped, I'll undo my bag, put my jumper back on.
Yeah, I can relate to that, mate. I've taken out a few guys and I'm like, walk out of the hut and I'm wearing like a long sleeve summer shirt and pair of pants and volleys on, and they're like, it's winter, dude. I'm like, yeah, but we're about to walk 20 Ks. And then they're like...
You're nuts in volleys, man. I've been there, done that.
120 metres from the ute, and they're like, I need to take my jacket off. And then you get 500 metres down the road, then you need to take that jumper off. And it's like, told you, just freeze a little bit till you get there, then you're all good.
Yeah. Some people are pussies like me. They like to be comfortable.
Yeah, that's right. But if you're hunting Victoria and stuff like that, where it's freezing fair bit of the time, and you're going slow you need that warm gear just so you don't freeze, because you don't want to go hammer and tongs over there with your stalks.
Yeah, you've done a few Vic trips, haven't you, chasing sambar? You shot a nice sambar stag. That would have been 3-4 years ago now. Been a while.
It would be, because of COVID. 100%, far out. When you say it like that, heck, that hurt. It'd be 3 years ago.
It's a pity they're so far away to get onto.
I know, and then when the border shut like that, because I had a hog deer trip planned, and
I remember you saying
a couple of sambar hunts planned, and they just got canned. So
lots of guys lost lots of good hunts, whether it was interstate or international. Unfortunately,
definitely it wasn't just my ones, but a lot of guys missed out, unfortunately.
Yeah, and still missing out with all the shit. But we'll stay away from the COVID
That's
shit.
right. If you guys are looking for camo though in SA, the gunnery's got a fair range of spiky gear, as does Fish Firearms.
Yep.
I don't know Hunt Tech and that, but
I don't think Hunt Tech actually have too much over here at the moment. Their best way to go on is just hit up their website and find what you like, and get what you're hunting for. I've turned a few guys onto it, and especially the hotter, drier stuff is wicked. Their Outback shirts, Outback pants, just brilliant stuff for the hot days, that's for sure. Zombie apocalypse weapon, man.
Have to be an Adler, mate.
An Adler?
Yep, go the Adler.
Lever or straight pull? Lever?
Yeah, because you just get the whole action going,
Yeah.
and get the extended mag on it, so you got 11 shots.
The first person that's actually picked a firearm.
Well, you can go hand grenades, bazookas, and all that stuff, but you can't. I guess you.
Actually, I think Rich did say one of his answers for last last episode was a AR. So if he could get it, he would love an AR, and it's a good excuse to get one.
Even an army tank wouldn't be too bad. You run out of bullets, you can run them over.
Yeah, but then you got to worry about diesel and.
Well, that's true. They have a few of them. What?
I'll just tuck her away in the bush somewhere with a bow.
Yeah.
What have you forgotten on a hunt?
Heck, I've forgot my binos plenty of times, and that's essential down there. Or down where I hunt, because Well, you can use the scope and that, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I reckon binos are one of the most essential hunting things. Like your gun or your bow, your binos, a knife, a pack and water, and good boots. Like if there was 6 things I would say, like if I'm taking new people out, like I've discussed with Ilias on the podcast in the past, he's like, oh, what do I need? I'm like, do you have binos? He's like, no. And then I'm like, go get a pair.
Yeah,
you want to come hunting? Go get a pair. And there's been a few guys that I've told to go get a pair. Just what you can afford, go get it. It's better than nothing, Especially if you're swinging a rifle scope around, you don't know who's around there, what's around,
Yeah, there was one trip that I did, and I just remembered that I went out with a mate of mine, Charlie, and we're down local here, and I chucked in my 223 instead of my 3006 for deer hunt because my 223 and my 3006 are both stainless steel ticker hunters. And they both had matching stocks at the time, the walnut one. So I chucked my 3006 ammo in with my 223, thinking I've got it in. And I pull up there, and he followed me down in his car because he was working down that way. And jump out, and he's like, yep, no worries, you can use my gun. And I got it, and I'm like, oh, no. So I'm like, this is not good. And he had his 2D50 in his car. But he did the same thing I did, but he had no ammo. Oh, no. So, basically, we searched his whole car and found one bullet. And we actually got a deer with it, so we were pretty happy. Yeah, wow,
that's pretty good. The good old farm ute prevailed,
Yeah, that's right. It went from chaos to not so bad, but...
you only need that one shot, but you would have been kicking yourself if if
he missed, it would have been a heck of a run.
If I did that, I probably would have rocked up and it would have been the biggest fallow buck I've ever seen on the property.
Yep.
And I'd be like, oh, no. It would be like 50 metres from the gate.
Yeah, right there, whoops across the track.
Yeah, just stops, stares at you for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that happened to me in the rut coming home, like just last year, driving back from hunting down the other side of my brother's place. And massive fallow buck right in the driveway. Not even ready, nothing ready. And I'm just like, what the heck?
Unreal. Yeah, no, we've all been there. One of the blocks that Luke and I have access to, the reason we found it, we went out bow fishing and then we're just driving around and we pulled up and there's all these, it would have been this time of year, it was Australia Day about 4 or 5 years ago.
Beautiful.
All these velvet bucks just sitting, 100 metres, not even 100 metres from this farmer's house.
Far out, just bedded there.
With, we had the rifles in the car and we've shot straight up the driveway, rocked up the driveway, and I'm like, oh, I actually know these people. So got chatting, they're like, oh, there's someone that has a deer farm a few k's down the road. We don't know if it's theirs. We've never really seen deer around here before. I'm like, oh. So we just stood in their driveway with the binos taking photos of them, and it's the biggest fallow buck I've seen on that property. Have not seen it since.
Far out.
Like Luke and I could have shot both our personal record deer right there and then. From wouldn't have been a hunt, but it would have been a hell of a deer each.
It's always a way, isn't it? You get candy dangled in your face, and then it's like, oh, maybe.
We sat and watched them 80 metres in their driveway, less than 100 metres from their house, for 15 minutes, just taking photos of them through the binos. And they were just not a care in the world, and have not seen deer that easy on that that property since,
No, and you won't.
No.
Now that you got access there, you won't.
What's the funniest thing that's happened on a hunting or a fishing trip, man?
Oh, mate, I've got a couple of stories about that, but funniest thing would be telling the skipper of the boat that I think you're driving like way over in the channel, and him telling me, no, it's all good, GPS is perfect, it's like it's brand new, rah. And then I'm like, I look over the edge of the boat and I'm like, mate, this is shallow as, and he's gone smack straight into the rocks.
Oh, no.
And then we've hit the bollard on the edge of the channel and bounced back into the middle, and the boat's filling up with water because there's a hole in the bottom of the boat.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, far out, and I'm just like, straight away, I feel water on my feet. And I'm like, we're filling up with water, man. And he's like, quick, get a bucket and like start bailing out. And I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, turn your bilge pump on, man. And it's like, oh, yeah, good idea. But never rely on your GPS.
So was that a charter or was
Nah, it was
that
just
one of your
out-
mates?
One
or-
of my mates just went out with him for a fish, and it was a nightmare, that trip, man. I tell you. And that there was the icing on the cake.
Oh, I
back
bet.
in. Oh,
I bet. That sounds, yeah. you would have been touching cloth there for a bit there.
yeah.
Just listen to me. There's rocks right there, man.
He just did not listen. He goes, nah, GPS, I'm right on my mark where I drove out, but we're like 15 metres to the right of it.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know why he just didn't look over the edge and go, I need to move over.
Some people trust technology a little bit too much when it comes to that stuff, unfortunately, you know. But there is great GPS stuff now. I'm a big proponent of OnX Maps. Have you ever downloaded that and used that on your phone? So we don't get all the full features here because they use all the public land stuff for the states. But you can use it to literally map out all your boundary, and then you can put GPS points all through where you want it, and you can pick what you want the icon to be.
Okay.
So like if I find a rub or an active scrape, I'll put a rub or a scrape sign there.
That's
I'll
perfect.
put all my trail cameras on there. I'll map out tracks, like where the deer are using trails and all of that.
Do you need service for that to work?
GPS, man.
Is that it?
It's
Far
you
out.
just use the free version
What's it
of
called?
it. OnX Maps, ONX.
Is that similar to memory maps?
I don't know. This is an actual hunting
have to
brand that
check
they
that
use in the
out.
States. I'll show you after the podcast.
Yeah,
But
that sounds
it's
awesome.
You know, like even when I find a shed, like the one next to me,
Yep.
I'll pin the point where the shed is, and then I'll turn on the tracking and I'll do circles like 10, 15 meters around it to
And
try
it shows that live.
that shows it live, but so I can try and find
the other one.
find the matching pair. Hasn't worked yet for me, but
They do say if you find a cast, you guys to like Zach's done, pinpoint it and then circle out to 100 meters, and you can possibly pick up the other one. But when it works for you, let me know, can you?
Yeah. Well, down the southeast, one of the trips, I found a matching pair, which I don't have anymore, but it was one under one tree, and then 15 meters, the other one was there. I'm like, no way.
You guys, I've got a quick story for you. You guys would have seen on my Instagram, if you follow me, I found a set of fallow casts the other day.
Yeah,
which
no,
was
I
a
seen
matching
that.
pair, which I was pretty happy about because I knew which buck it was. And I've got him on trail camera, which you would have seen the picture I posted up. But when I got back to my brother's house there was one of his mates and he had his kids there. And the girl was like, oh, really want a set of antlers and this and that. And I was like, oh no, like she's going to see my antlers and that. But anyway, cut her short, long story short, I ended up giving them to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's
she,
great.
She was like, wow, I really always wanted a pair of antlers and this and that. And then I got back home and I just checked the photos that I took of them and checked them with that buck, and it was matching like perfect. And I was just like, that's so cool.
Yeah, now you just need to get that buck on the ground.
Yeah, well, he's been on camera in velvet, so he's I actually nicknamed him Short Brows because he's got really short brows.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing the one that you posted up. But yeah, I have a similar story. I had a castie, and the guy that works for my dad, his daughter was really interested in all the antlers in my room, so I gave her one, and he was saying for like months later she was just would take that castie with her, like every room she went in the house she'd have that castie with her.
Makes that day, man.
Yeah.
So I felt really good about giving that to her, but at the same time I felt a little bit but anyway, she's stoked.
Oh, that's great. I love casties, man. I don't there's a few guys in Oz that get right into it. I just don't see how it's not a bigger thing.
Oh mate, normally because I've been flat out with work and that at the hospital with COVID and stuff, and just like the changes we've had here, I'm normally out over Christmas and New Year's and whatever break and that, walking miles and miles and miles trying to find what I can because I love casting.
Do you have any tips on where to look for them? Low points, fence lines.
Yeah, so basically your game trails going into like thick cover, you can find them in amongst that thick cover there where they're going in because they knock them off. Jumping fences, like where they're coming to and fro feed spots as well, like before end of September or whenever they drop their antlers around that time. And also like bedding areas.
So is there a particular time of year that you prefer? Because they cast around November-ish?
Yeah, early November. Late September, early November. But I have seen them late November with fallow bucks with antlers. So just around September, November, I'll keep your eyes out. And red deer around late August.
Do you find that, because, a few of the ones that I have chew marks on them, do you find that, foxes and stuff move them quite a bit? They'll get hold of them.
Definitely.
Especially deer as well. I heard deer chew on them to get more calcium.
100%. Yeah, red hinds love chewing antlers. But I find cattle and sheep and stuff like that move them around a little bit. Yep. Always chew marks on the tips.
Yeah. I've got a couple of
dead giveaway
whitetail casties up there, and especially because how they sit. They normally sit with their tines sticking straight up.
Definitely.
Where the fallows don't really have that as much.
Yep.
But all the tips are chewed off.
Yeah, they come across, but a lot of people use them for dog chews as well.
Yeah, they sell them.
Yeah, they love that. I don't know why a dog would like chewing on something so hard, but
I think it's the calcium. It's good for their teeth and bones and all of that, and they just know it. It's like why dogs chew on bones, because antlers are bone.
Yeah,
well, that's the fastest growing biological material.
Yeah, they definitely got a good market for it. They sell like hotcakes.
They do. Just like they cut up the bone, and it's like $10-15 for just a little piece of red antler.
Yeah, brow tine or whatever. It's crazy.
It's mental.
Not cutting my collection up for
that. You'd have a few $1,000s worth for sure. You might not have to work again if you sell them.
Yeah.
What's the sketchiest, most dangerous thing that's happened on a hunt or a fish?
The sketchiest, most dangerous thing was on that same trip when we hit that pylon on the boat.
Oh, Jesus.
The captain of the boat, which was Ron, he actually had a bit of a lapse and passed out.
Oh, wow.
When we're out
just
in the
a medical episode?
Yeah, yep, just low like sugar and that, because
diabetic, yep.
And then he's just like laid down and said, head back, middle of the Gulf.
That's insane.
I'm like, we're nearly out of fuel. And everything. We're in his boat, and he's just laid down and like passed out. And I'm like, heck! So I've just basically headed back like in the general direction of what I thought was correct.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're cruising in and whatnot, and then he started to come back good, and sitting up and whatever, giving him some water and then, when he came to, he's like, righto, I'm driving. And
that explains why he might have been a bit off with his marks and when you hit the rocks, that's for sure.
Yeah, but that was, like, not cool. I thought 000 is going to have to get called and rescue, and it was all happening.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing, but, like, you hear stories of people dying out on a hunt, but just, like, having a heart attack while they're at a hunt.
Yeah.
Especially if you're, not saying when you're young, but if you're older, man, wouldn't that be the way to go?
Oh,
if I was hunting with a mate, like, there's a story on the Meat Eater podcast. This guy was out duck hunting with his dad, and his dad was an older gentleman and had a heart attack. They ended up filling their bags up after they had a heart attack, after he had the heart attack and died, and then called.
So they're not bagging out on ducks and then rang it through.
Just
quick check him. Is he dead? Yeah, no, he's dead. We'll keep going. We'll sort it out later.
That's what I would want my mates to do if I was out. Go shoot the biggest buck or stag of your life, and then get help.
Well, I wouldn't want to have a heart attack before shooting a big red stag. Put it that way.
Yeah. But if my mate did after I did, I wouldn't haunt him.
If you were there as a ghost watching, it'd be all right.
Yeah. Exactly. What's the most important item you take out while hunting?
My rifle.
Rifle? Good answer.
No, most important thing, I think, just be water.
100%.
Yep, and a lighter.
Do you take a first aid kit?
Yep. I just got like a little. I don't have a as physical first aid kit. I just take like a bit of duct tape, like or medical tape.
Yeah.
And then like a bandage. And a couple of band-aids. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yep, and a piece of string.
Yep. Yeah, I got a decent size first aid kit in my pack, but my mum's a volunteer paramedic, and she's, I've got as you can see behind you, I've got bandages and all sorts of stuff all stashed away.
No, I'm probably a little bit under with me first aid kit in my pack, but
Do you have an EPIRB?
no.
No. That's
You can get those spot ones which are really good. You push a button and basically it sends your GPS signal, contacts, emails, like the fire brigade.
yeah. So I've got a
Yeah.
have got a little hiking one that I carry in my backpack.
Is that called
and
a Spot?
No, I'm not sure on the brand, but pretty much you register all your details online, and you have to refresh it every few years, and you just put like your in case of emergency contacts and that, and then when you hit that, it calls through the emergency channels, but it also sends out something to them as well.
Email.
Yeah.
No, that sounds very similar to the Spot one that we use.
Yeah.
Or that my brother and that uses on the phone.
Yeah. I think it's something that's underrated.
Definitely.
Not every bottom of a gully is going to have phone signal and that.
Yeah.
We're pretty fortunate here that a lot of places have phone signal.
Definitely. But yeah, with those EPIRBs, I don't think you need phone service, do you?
No. It's all satellite, so you just register and
push a button.
keep. Yeah.
That's worst case scenario too, guys. Not if you stab your toe or put a little nick in your finger.
Yeah. This is coming from someone that's been stabbed, literally stabbed. So
Yeah, well, that's true. I forgot about
that. What's your top 5 dream animals? Not just in Australia, but worldwide, man.
Top one would be an elk.
Elk, yep. Is any certain particular place that you would prefer to take one?
It's got to be a horseback backpack trip in, I think, is it Colorado?
Colorado,
yeah.
I think they do it in a few different states, but Colorado would be one of them.
7-day backpack on a horse. Go and hunt something big, massive thing, camp out, dodge bears.
Yeah.
With like 5 or so of your best mates, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty sick.
That would be unbelievable.
The wall tents and stuff that they take with all the horses and the mules and stuff is incredible.
Yeah, I watch heaps of it.
Taj Mahal, and they have like big proper fireplaces.
Yeah, it's like what do they call those little ones where you cook on top of it?
Yeah, the stove.
They call it something like a pig.
Yeah.
Like those pig ones.
The potbelly pigs that we have here. Yeah, they carry them. But
they got everything, man.
Yeah.
The only thing they haven't got is a masseuse on those trips.
Oh, they might if you pay enough. I heard the guides will do anything for a better tip.
Definitely, that's right.
So elk being number 1.
Yeah, Seeker. Love a Seeker New Zealand hunt.
Yeah.
That's
Seeker New Zealand, but if I think the top Seeker hunt would be Japan.
Yeah, Japan.
When they do the hunts over there, I think they stop them, start them. They got a pretty strict tagging process, and then you've also got the is it Russian Seeker as well? They've got a
I think so.
Ukraine Seeker or something like that.
I just love
over
the
in Europe.
terrain that New Zealand's got.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Different but cool.
Yeah,
you'd be in your element for sure.
Definitely. And number 3 would be a hog deer.
Hog deer, yep.
Yep, just so I can get my slam.
Yeah, because you're on 5 of the 6 species in Australia.
Yep, on 5. So,
and you've got a pretty good stag and buck of each one so far.
I have, I've been very spoilt with that. So, but worked pretty hard for it.
You have. If you haven't seen Josh's trophy room, either go through his Instagram or shoot him a message. He replies to pretty much most of his messages. I'd say he's a pretty good dude like that. So ask for a photo.
Yeah,
and I think he'll be a bit happy showing photos and videos of his prized trophy room.
Yeah, show us your trophies as well. Don't be shy. But yeah, it's for me, a trophy's not the size of the animal too, guys. It's the hunt behind it.
100%.
I've done some flaming hard hunts to getting stuff in and out like it's crazy.
But you've also got some very, very respectable animals, I was talking to a bloke at work yesterday that knows you, and just saying that one of your reds, the base of his antlers are almost as thick as my biceps on my arm.
Yeah, no, he's a big deer, that one. I was spoiled. What was that? Not last year, the year before. Yeah, amazing red. Massive body on it.
Yeah, they're an insane animal.
He's actually mounted on an elk form.
So. Yeah, I remember you saying.
Yeah.
And who mounted that? Was that Tim?
Yeah, Tim Blackwell at Mount Gambier.
Yeah. amazing
awesome
South
job.
Australian taxidermist.
Yeah, he's good. We've got a couple of good guys here, which is great.
Look up his page. He just done a moose with
With Dwayne.
Aussie Outbush Dwayne, and
nailed
that
it.
moose was
That moose is
full body. No,
ridiculous.
yeah.
If you haven't seen that, you got to hit them up. Check out their pages. It's unbelievable.
Either Tim Blackwell, isn't it? Yeah, or Aussie Outbush Dwayne. His I'll have to hit him up and try and get him on the podcast. I reckon he'll be.
He's a good dude, man.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, he's when we caught up at the Archer at the pub that time.
That's right.
It was a good chat with him. Like, I've been following his journeys for at least 6 years, I reckon.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I met him. It's a good little crew that we've got going on there with the Send It Mate podcast guys and a few other guys.
Definitely, yeah. No, networking in South Australia I don't think it's been this strong, to be honest.
No.
Amongst a good bunch of dudes. Probably, 12 of us now, I reckon?
Yeah, there'd be a few, and you've got your skeet shooting crew.
Yeah.
There's constantly new people.
We try. That's good, that. We're getting out and just meeting people. If you want to come along, hit us up if you're in South Australia. Come and say g'day, and we're trying to do it monthly, catch up.
Yeah, we've talked about doing bigger events and getting more and more people out. Even talked about doing a wild game dinner with some of that awesome.
Yeah, definitely did.
Awesome processed venison that you process up. Some of that
get plenty of help
salami and Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
My mouth's watering just thinking about the stick that you brought over, man.
Yeah. Hopefully it's the Metworth.
So where we're up to, Seeker, I think that was about 3.
Yeah, Seeker, and then got to be a kudu, man.
Kudu, yep.
I know it's not a deer species, but it's
top 5 species. Doesn't have to be
awesome.
deer, man.
They are amazing.
They're gorgeous.
Mate of mine's got a 50-incher, and that's so good.
I bet they're very, very beautiful.
That's like a Samba of the African animals, I believe.
Yeah,
kudu.
Yeah, my top South African animal is a Nyala. Like, they're a bit smaller than the kudu. They've got a very similar padding.
They do. Yeah.
But they're just, in my personal opinion, they're the best looking.
They're rare too, aren't they? Something, I think.
I think so. I think they're. But depends where you go, really.
Yeah, it probably does.
But the first mount I seen was at one of those Willaluka game nights. You know how they do the Willaluka Tavern?
That was the heads and
yeah. I seen one up there, and that's where I met our mutual friend Brittany, and she had a couple stuff up there. She's a very, very good South Australian taxidermist. She does a bit of everything.
Amazing with birds and foxes and rabbits and anything.
Just the attention to detail.
She's got that girl touch, guys.
Yeah. That's Lux Taxidermy. So if you're not following her, go check her out on socials. And she does some amazing work.
Very passionate.
So I think there's still one more from my count.
Yeah, there is. Heck, I love my Chiddle deer. I'd have to get another one of them.
Chiddle, and then for all the Americans listening, that's Axis.
Yeah, Axis deer. Yep, I just love them. I love the pattern on the coat. And
they're very, very high on my list.
Yeah. I love the pedestal mount that Timmy Blackwell did for me, actually. That's just highlights a perfect Chiddle.
I bet.
Not just because it's my mount, but all of them on that pedestal shape just shows off the whole shoulder and goes up to the neck where you got that white patch to the black nose and the antlers.
Have you seen where they do it's like a pedestal mount but for the wall, but then they've got the it's a big thing in Texas. They get another Chiddle skin or Axis skin, and then they do they cut it out in the Texas state shape, and they have it mounted in the middle. That looks
shape
insane.
The wall with it in the shape of the country. That does look good.
Shape of the state, yeah.
Spread it out like a big fin.
Yeah, so you'll have to go try and find places you can go get like a Chiddle Axis slam, go to Hawaii and then go to Texas and then find out where else what other countries have them.
Got to win the lotto first. Take all me mates in.
You'll get over there, man. You'll get over there. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So how do you see the public views hunters? So you associate with the public quite a bit through your job. You would see
definitely
and chat to all different walks of life.
It's actually good question, Zach, because a lot of people are very intrigued by it. They ask me, like, what do you do with the animal once you shot it? And it's like, well, I'm only hunting it because I want to eat it.
Yeah.
And they're like, you eat it? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So I basically hang it up. Well, gut it first.
Yeah.
And I'll hang it up. I'll take the skin off. And I'll get the skin tan down at Southern Tanners, which is Port Elliot.
That's down
awesome.
there through Brittany.
Yep, beautiful. Yep. So he does a great job as well. Most taxidermists, I think, if you take it there or whatever, they'll probably send it down there or do it themselves.
Yeah.
He does
especially
a lot.
South Australian taxidermists and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. But they just say, okay, cool. And then what do you do with that? So it becomes a floor rug. Then they want to see pictures, and it's like, okay, well, you show them pictures, and then the conversation starts, and then they say, okay, so what do you do with the meat?
Some people you chat to, you just see the gears turning, and like they've just haven't thought about it, and they're like, you know, the amount of people I speak to, and I've said this before, that they just don't know that there's deer in South Australia. They don't know that there's deer in Australia
100%.
wild. You know,
100%. They're like, that's one of the things I was going to get to. They say, okay, so you've shot the animal, you've scun it, and you've gutted it and processed the meat. Where did you go to a farm, or did you buy the?
Yeah.
Where'd you get the deer from? Because we don't see any deer.
Yeah.
And then you explain to them that they're wild on properties, and they're like, we've got wild deer here.
I explain to people, like, if you're familiar with Adelaide, the start of the freeway,
the tunnel,
going not even the tunnel, man. Like, there's deer from the start of the freeway, from the up track. Like, if you start looking the scrub, because I drive it a fair bit, driving a truck, plasterboard all around the place, and every time I'm in the truck, whether it's morning or afternoon, my eyes are glued up in those hills. And
you're like me. Mate, I'm like Ace Ventura driving with the glasses on out the window.
Yeah. The guys I'm with, they'll send me Snapchats, like, when they go up, and they'll be like, oh, there's deer up there. There's deer over there. Look, I'm Zach. There's more deer over there.
Yeah,
and
I'm late to that.
And they're like, we never see these deer that you see. And you'll be like, there's one sitting by that rock over there. There's one under that tree. There's one in the clearing over there. And they're like, how do you see it? I'm just like, once you start picking it up, and one of the guys now, I'm like, Jimmy, look, there's one. And he's like, I actually seen that one. Jimmy, there's 5 over there. It's like, how do you...
Hunter's eyes, mate. You get dialed in. You guys out there that hunt and whatever else, you'd understand. Like,
everyone that hunts knows what we're talking about.
It's the shape, the pattern, the spot, even the shape of the ears and the head. Like, because I'm colourblind, so I actually struggle seeing colours a bit, but I just go by shape and movement.
Colourblind and basically deaf, yet out hunts most people in Australia.
I wouldn't say that. I just do it a lot.
100%.
But yeah, no, it is good. It is good. And then basically, like, the next step from that, once I've scun it and processed and got the skin tanned, it's the meat side. So I just say, look, I can either cut it up into like your cuts and that, like a sheep, or how'd you get it in the shop, or I mince it down and make mince and sausages and metwurst.
The sausage king.
Yeah, sausage king. Yeah, but no, I love making definitely like sausages and stuff like that for friends and families, and you know.
Yeah, if you see a lot of Josh's socials, nearly after every hunt, there's always a sausage fest going on at his house. You know, all the boys there, sausages in hand.
Yeah, got their hands around
it. Some of you guys would have to listen to if you don't listen to the Send It Mate podcast, check them out, and you'll understand a lot of those jokes a lot more. Yeah, they're a loose bunch, and if you're into a silly podcast, they're definitely good guys to go and follow, that's for sure. How would you change the public views on hunting and hunters?
I think in South Australia, you mean, or in general?
In general, like, you look like the typical movie hunter, like Bambi, Wolverine, they're all redneck losers, just shooting everything. Yeah, you know?
I think the thing that I'd like to change is how we view them and see them and what they're doing with them, like with the government culling them and getting rid of them now. Like,
all the big chopper culls.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I see them as a major resource for us guys here in Australia. You know, they feed hundreds of families every year. People paid to go hunting. We've gone and visit towns that you wouldn't go to normally.
Yeah.
Because there's deer there. they're full every weekend, you know.
100%,
So
100%.
you take away the animals and whatever else, what are you going to do? You're not going to go down and stalk rabbits all weekend.
Well, that's the thing. Everything we have to hunt here in Australia, you know, there's a big, in Australian hunting, shooting community, there's like a big division of people that see the animals that we hunt and eat as a resource, and then the people that see them just purely as a pest. You know, I grew up as a kid. I absolutely admired Steve Irwin. Like, I was Steve Irwin obsessed. Everything. Like, you know, you talk to my parents, my family. I knew who Steve Irwin was before anyone knew who Steve Irwin was. You know, I was watching all his docos, everything. You know, I was constantly, because I grew up hunting so much, I was everything feral animal related. Any like free choice project in school was on camels, was on pigs, was on rabbits, you know, cane toads, just everything. And there's just that very delicate balance I've found. Like, you know, we want less numbers, but we don't. As a hunter, it's a constant battle between my conservation side and the wanting this resource to be available
100%.
for me, my family, my future kids. Because without hunting, I wouldn't be who I am today. And without these animals, what would we have in Australia?
Definitely.
Kangaroos,
Wombat.
emus, and wombats and koalas. Like, there's, you know, 4 things you can't hunt. Like, you can't hunt a kangaroo. You can only shoot them because they are one of the stupidest animals, and they ruin more deer hunts than anything else. Like, how many times have you been walking through? There's kangaroos 100 yards one way, there's deer 50 meters in front of you, and those kangaroos run straight between you and the deer.
Every time. And if you got that stupid 2-legged bushberg out in the middle of the paddock and you don't see him,
V8
chicken, he will run straight past that buck you've been chasing for 2 years.
Yeah. And
It just comes from nowhere.
you know, any Australian hunter, like, you know, you hear the Americans, they sit there and complain, oh, a squirrel scared my deer away. It's like, try having a deer that hops through the forest. Like, I call kangaroos Tyrannosaurus deer because they're a 2-legged deer that just bounce through.
Yeah, smash fences and everything, man.
Yeah.
But the only trouble is with them being a resource for us here as well. Like, you got to think of our farmers and that. Obviously, you want sustainable numbers on properties, but if they're out of control, then you got to do your culling as well. So,
Yeah, it's not just saving all the deer to be the biggest buck. You have to go shoot the does. You have to go shoot the spikes. You have to go shoot the year-olds and the 2-year-olds.
But we just need to. I think they need to be more smart about how they're doing these cullings and stuff like that. There's plenty of hunters around that can go in and
the money that they spend to do these helicopter culls, they can
make that money back through hunting.
They could double, triple, you know, just by opening up some land and having a better license system. And
it'd be awesome to come up with a perfect scenario and run it and manage that.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of people talk about the North American model of wildlife, you know, tags and draws and all of that stuff for this type of stuff, but it's just so hard to put it in an Australia, like put the North American model, because everything that they hunt is, to an extent, is native to the area.
100%.
So they're trying to just manage numbers, where everything that we hunt
is a pest.
I hate using the word pest, and I hate using the word feral.
Yeah.
There's a bloke in Tasmania, Shane. He constantly fights because Tasmanian fallow deer are a game animal over there, and they're a huge resource for the area. You know,
definitely,
they get some amazing bucks over there, and he's constantly fighting. Like, we need to change and not call them feral. They're a game species, you know.
Imagine having that at your back door, like what they got there.
Oh, just the fishing. The only thing that I can't do about Tasmania is there's no bow hunting, so I could never live there. I have no interest in.
Can't bow hunt there.
No, it's illegal, unfortunately.
Well, that's just another line through Tassie.
Yeah, they're far enough. They can just keep going to Antarctica.
Chop it off. Cut that last rope.
So yeah, we're talking about the change on the public views and how would you change it? Like, what is something we could all do to change these perceptions? Do you think, like, social media is a huge thing. People see the photos we post, and some people take them as a negative thing. Some people take them as a positive thing. Is it less social media and posting photos, or is it meeting new people, giving them venison? Like, you give a fair amount of venison away to other hunters, but also probably people that don't hunt,
friends and family. And
so is it doing that? Is it sharing this resource with the people that don't hunt so that they can get a understanding,
like what you're saying with giving people meat and stuff like that? I think I had a chat only this week off my video I put up of me cutting up a sheep on the bandsaw.
Which was bloody tasty. We had that for dinner. Someone brought some chops around tonight.
Yeah, that was nice. It cooked it well.
That was good.
Like educating other hunters and giving them tips and showing videos and that, because this fella that I was chatting to, I can't remember his name, but he's a champion anyway, and he was trying to Google for me how to do the ribeye boneless.
Yeah.
There's no videos you could find to show me that technique, because I haven't done any butchery training, anything at all yet, so I'd love to learn it and whatever, and I'm open for anyone to give me advice on how to do butchering.
I possibly have a guy I can hook you up with that.
Yeah.
He was a butcher for a fair few years.
Even just get a group of guys that want to learn and all do it together, like making small goods and stuff like that. I've just gone and done it.
Yeah, you've done awesome with that. Like, I've always wanted to do small goods, but it's just such a long and lengthy process. But
I just do it after work.
When I get like I said to you tonight, I've never met someone that is as busy as you. You work, then you're taking your girls and your wife out fishing. Then the next story, you're out scouting, then you're out shooting, then you're butchering, then you're working, then you're like, I've never met someone that's just more on the go than you.
I am pretty busy.
Like, I would love to have your energy reserves.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, I have been feeling tired lately, but
nothing coffee can't fix.
That's right, yeah.
what's
coffee,
that coffee?
Striker coffee. Amazing.
It looks good.
Yeah, I've been nailing a fair bit of that, actually, because my wife wanted a coffee machine, so for 3 years she wanted one. I'm like, well, I better not get a gun. I better buy her a coffee machine one year. Or bullets. No, but bought her a coffee machine, and then we had this just standard coffee that we bought from the shop, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I'm like, I should hit up like a coffee place and see whether I can get something online, like, and support someone. So that's what I've done. I reached out to Striker, and they said, yeah, no worries, and sent me some, and been buying it ever since.
Coffee seems to be the next thing. Ever since that Black Rifle coffee came on the market, everyone's getting into it. Like, you've got Dog and Gun coffee now. You've had some of their stuff, haven't you?
I haven't had Dog and Gun coffee, no.
Must have been thinking of someone else's post, but no, every second story on coffee is those boys,
Yeah.
I haven't yet to get myself some, but I do love a good coffee out in the bush. That's
every
for
morning, coffee, it's got to be coffee. But in the bush, coffees, you can't beat that.
Yeah, Rich and I were talking about these coffee tea bags that you can get.
Yep.
Have you seen them?
Yeah. They're awesome.
I discovered them in New Zealand, and they're like the best backpack thing, because you can just
heat hot water up, chuck tea bag in, and done.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's surprisingly good.
Yeah. I was out with a couple of mates, and we had it's like a plastic machine where you put the ground coffee in the top.
Yeah.
Put your hot water in and push it through.
Yeah. I've seen those ones.
Far out, that was awesome.
Yeah, there's that many. Like, you hear about Evan Hafer with the Black Rifle coffee, how he like rigged out a Humvee while he was in Afghanistan to roast coffee and shit while he was serving overseas. That's just insane.
You just got to adapt, mate. Do what you got to do.
What's your favourite way to cook venison?
My favourite way to cook venison is just low and slow, and then just medium rare.
Yeah, so that's your go-to. Yeah,
because you
make plenty of metwurst, you make plenty of sausages.
Yep,
you do. Yep. What else do you do? What other cuts you get out of?
I've done, actually, to be honest too, that was really good. You're cutting up like your loin chops and just your rib chops and stuff like that. Yeah. They are sensational. Venison on the bone, guys. If you got a bandsaw,
as the Americans call them, tomahawks. But I'm a big proponent of a good rib roast or.
Yep. Yep, the one that
just
you've
chops.
done look
Yeah.
amazing as well. If you you cut your normal backstrap out of your rib cage and that, and you cook that like a normal steak, you cut the bone and leave the bone on. For some reason, it's just different.
Yeah.
But amazing.
It's
different.
caveman.
Like,
It's good.
Yeah, you got something to hold on to while you eat it as well.
I quite often do. I've got a sous vide cooker. Have you seen them? You put them in a pot and it heats the water up, and then I leave it in there for like 8 hours, and then you take it out because you set the temperature you want it at, so it will be still rare, and then you just put it straight on the barbecue. Get some nice crispiness to it.
I did watch your sous vide thing for ages, and I'm like, far out, that looks amazing. And then my mate bought one. Yeah. And he's done it as well with steaks and stuff. And then he gets your heat, like a little glow torch. And just crisps it up.
Yeah, some people do the
wow.
Do the blowtorch.
And he reckons it's amazing.
Yeah. I love ribs too. Like I'll cut all the ribs off. I'll cut them into 2-3 rib bits, 10 centimeters long-ish. Chuck them in a slow cooker in a nice like rib sauce. Keep them in there till just when the meat's about to come off the bone. Yep. And then chuck them on the Weber with some red gum charcoal and.
Far out, I'm getting hungry again.
Yeah, I'll probably eat that stick of Metwurst tonight.
You probably will.
What is hunting to you?
Hunting to me, mate, is just a release. Get out, walk, see what's around, take some photos. It's not always about shooting an animal. It's just being there. Being
one with nature. Yep. I can fully understand
love it. And like showing my girls and that as well what it's about and getting them in on animals and stuff like.
How good is it taking your kids out? Like I loved hunting and I love hunting with friends. I love taking you guys out, but just being out there with your kids is just something.
Definitely, yeah. Taking a mate out and that is, it's all cool, and your mate shoots an animal and you celebrate and go back to camp and have an awesome cook up or whatever. Yeah. But when you take your kid and they just everything is like, wow. Yeah, well, why as well, but it's also wow. Like their face is just so lit up and they're kind of fearful, scared, don't know really what to do. They're just looking at you and 100% trusting.
I got my 2-year-old that I take out in the backpack,
That's right.
And he loves it. He's just bird, and kangaroo, just pointing out everything. And then you take him out the pack and he's just exploring. Pick up this rock, pick up this feather, pick up this stick, just
seeing
checking
him tonight, everything. Like meeting him for the first time, he's going to be like Zach times 20.
yeah. He's
he'll have 2 bows, not one.
Yeah. It's going to be dangerous. I reckon he's going to be a mad keen hunter, and it's not going to be harder to be better than his old man. But how would you like to be remembered?
Oh heck, just being like connecting everyone together and just being real,
building a community, being yourself.
Yeah, helping others,
sharing your passion.
Yep. Sharing the passion, 100%. And
you definitely do take out a lot of new hunters, and that's something I'm very respectful of. I've taken, a dozen people to take their first deer or their first goat, and it's just like the feeling you get. Like you can shoot the biggest deer in the world, like you're happy, but just taking someone out and they shoot their first deer, like whether it's a doe or a spike or just that feeling, like just seeing their raw emotions, especially people that haven't grown up with it, like 100%. You and I.
Yeah, and then sharing the process and breaking it down,
teaching them skinning, gunning.
Yep, gunning.
And they're just watching them. They want to know, like, how's the skin connected? Because, like, so there's a guy that I'm going to get on the podcast in the future. He's helped me out with all the podcasting stuff. He's a very techie guy, but he's done podcasts, he's done gaming, but he's never been fishing, he's never been hunting. So you're hearing it here first. I'm going to get him on and we'll try and do a 3-4 part podcast series. So We'll get him in where he's fresh, where he wants to know how we do, like, because he'll watch something, see something on a movie, and he'll be like, hey, how do you actually do this? How's this work? How's that work? And I said to him, just write this stuff down. We'll get you on. Yeah. You ask all these questions because it's going to be a great thing to ask on the podcast. So guys that haven't hunted before that are looking to get into
questions.
Because they're all the same questions that these people,
Definitely.
And then,
yeah.
so we'll do one episode where he's asking all these questions. Then I'll take him out for a shoot and teach him how to shoot, just shoot the rifle, and then do like a podcast on that. Then take him for a hunt and get him to shoot, whether it's a rabbit or a fox or a deer, and then do a podcast on just doing that. So
and cooking.
Yeah, that's a huge part for both you and I.
Definitely.
Some guys
hunt for food.
Oh, it's like I said before. It's a mix in Australia. It's a mixture of. Sometimes you just have to do purely pest control.
Oh yeah.
You do plenty of pest control, but you utilize more venison than anybody. That there's a lot of guys that just in Australia, it's legal to just shoot a deer, leave it, let it rot.
That's right.
And there's a lot of guys that do that. And I have nothing against that. Like you have to do it for the farmers. You have to do it for the environmental factors. Fences and endangered species and all of that.
Game management.
It's something that has to be done in Australia. You talk to the Americans and the Canadians and shit, and they're just blown away. I got guys in New Zealand and they go out and shoot 25, 30 deer a night, which isn't heaps, but it's
enough.
That's as many deer as some Americans shoot in a lifetime.
That'd probably be red deer too.
Yeah. Oh, it's red deer. It's fallow. It's sika. It's a mixture of everything. Because they've got what 7 species of deer over there.
Yep. Yeah, and I've always found it intriguing how the Americans go out in such a close-knit group of mates, and they might draw one tag for that season.
Yeah.
And they're so pumped up. Old mate shoots a deer. There's high fives, there's tears, there's hugs, everything. Because we shoot so many, it's just another one, you know what I mean?
Yeah. For some people it is anyway. Yeah. That's for sure.
Well, meat hunting's different, but when you shoot a trophy or a mate harvest a trophy, that's pretty special.
Oh, 100%. It doesn't have to be a trophy. It just has to be first of a species, first of a deer, biggest deer, all of these things. What's the most random fact you know?
Most random fact? I've always thought a baby swan being a cygnet is a random fact.
Yeah, it is not many.
It's like...
You would think it'd be like a swanling or...
But yeah.
Like you got ducks, ducklings.
Duckling, chicken.
Yeah, a chick.
Oh, we've got a cygnet.
Yeah. Not many people know that. Like, it's a very underrated fact, and it's a really good one.
Just doesn't add
one that you can answer. Rich has probably asked you before, but this was his turned into a question rather than a random fact. But why don't you see sheep and deer together too much?
I personally believe it's just because the sheep let off a lot of smell.
Yeah.
And they smell a lot, and they're quite noisy when they're in a flock of sheep.
Yeah.
So, I think the sense of the smell for a deer, it's hard to decipher through that.
Yeah, so that's what we spoke about. I actually did get a message about it.
Yeah.
So the reason why you don't see sheep and deer together, sheep eat a lot of the good feed down low and often will outcompete other animals for feed like cattle. More often than not, cattle will starve and go poor if they share a paddock with sheep.
That's because they can't chew below that point.
Yeah,
right.
And
that's actually
sheep
awesome.
Are greedy. So yeah, that was a great bit of information from Cody. So
that's awesome. Well done, Cody.
That answered Rich's question pretty well.
It's like most sheep grazy country as well. That's like my brother's place as well, where I do a lot of hunting. He's got 20-odd thousand sheep there.
Yeah.
So they chew the feed down a bit. And excuse me, if you want to hunt the where the deer are, you go where the sheep aren't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that last episode.
Yep.
So what's the social media we can find you on, man? What's your Instagram handle, your Facebook?
Yeah, well, just on Facebook it's just Joshua Haines.
Yep.
And on Instagram it's Hainesy03.
Yep. So
07.
0307?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, I'll chuck that in the show notes for anyone, but if anyone has any questions and wants to ask him anything about whether it's hunting related questions, gear related questions, butchering,
anything,
processing,
just hit me up.
You're the man.
Ask me. Well, I'm not the man, but I can answer it to my best ability anyway, and just help you guys.
And
out.
that ability is much better than most people these days. But yeah, so I'd like to thank you for coming on. Thank you for bringing those lamb chops for dinner. They were bloody awesome. Thank you for the stick of Metwurst. I cannot wait to. I had some of that last lot I got from you, and that was, just watching your stories of you making it. That chili one you made the other day, my mouth was watering. I was like,
that was good.
Trying to lick the screen, trying to get onto it.
Well, this one's herb and garlic, so it's just I weighed it out and just mixed bagged it, and she's pretty good.
I seen your story smoking them the other day, and it was just insane. But thank you for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having us.
Not a problem. So thanks for Josh for joining us today. Thank you all for listening. Please check out and find us on our social medias. Instagram is at Hunting Connection Podcast. Facebook, Hunting Connection Podcast. Twitter is at Hunting Connect. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast app you are listening on. And if you enjoy, rate it, give it a review, good or bad. I'd love to know what you think.